This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Steve Jones Show here on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Sponsored by Purdy Insurance, Sunbury Motor Company, and Brewers Outlet. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Rich Scarcella is on the show at 1:35. Tony Knopp will join us at 2:35. Of course, this weekend was Penn State Media Day. Coaches poll is out. Sounds like Penn State is number 3 behind Texas and Ohio State, and magically 1 versus 2 meet on the first week of the season. It's funny how that works out sometimes. If you got a chance this weekend to see the Phillies and the Tigers, that was a fun series as well. Got 2 chances to see Johan Duran's new entrance, which is pretty cool. And I was reading the story last night. Apparently, as we go on, if you look at the join the MLB app, when you go to a Phillies game, they'll be able to control your phone flashlight and get everybody involved in the introduction of Duran to that game. That was pretty. That seems pretty weird to me, but is also pretty cool. My brother said they got my brother has a 12-game season ticket package. He said they got a note about it yesterday. What else is going on? A couple of hold-ins in the NFL, including Micah Parsons, Terry McLaurin, and now it sounds like James Cook of the Buffalo Bills is doing the same thing. I'm not sure I realized how great a season he had last year. He scored 24 touchdowns. I was not aware that he had that good of a season.
Todd, the bottom line is we know the suit is also holding in.
That's just natural.
He's holding in. I mean, and, you know, and for some odd reason, he doesn't seem to understand they're not negotiating with him, and they're still getting the same results. He's holding in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hey, that's why not?
I'm just telling you. Hey, look, Cook will get his money at some point, which is fine. It's the best, the best shot that the Bills have is to have a guy like that in the lineup to give them a running game to go with Josh Allen. So, yeah, it's August the 4th. Doesn't matter if he's holding in, out, whatever. He's not going to play the preseason anyway. Yeah.
Looks like Jerry told everybody this weekend not to worry about Micah.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that as well. I wouldn't worry about it either. Now, if I'm Micah, I worry about it because I want to get it settled. Every player wants to have their situation settled. In fact, look, if I'm talking to somebody that's a manager at Weiss and is reporting to somebody else, they want to have their situation settled, right? I mean, everybody's like that. Yeah, you and I have gone through unsettled times, right? During the course of our careers. It's not fun. So, I mean, it may be more money we're talking about here, but the player still wants it to be settled, right? And they're more productive when they are settled. I mean, I've talked to players that once they got their second contract, they've all said the same thing to me. He says, man, now I can just concentrate on pick up whatever the sport happens to be. Usually it's football. I mean, I can just have fun and play football now. Okay. So, that's...
I was going to say, that second contract keeps getting bigger and bigger as the years go on.
Well, that's because, look, the salary cap keeps getting bigger and bigger. The TV deal gets bigger and bigger all the time. I mean, the salary cap matches the TV deal. Well, it keeps going up all the time. If it keeps going up, you're going to have higher salaries. The only time that we really had any kind of pause in what was going on with the salary increases was during COVID, when the cap, the cap actually barely moved. It barely moved. That's because of the situation that was going on in the world at the time. But since they've come out of it, they have a brand new TV deal. They would never have been able to get the TV deal that they did receive from everybody if they didn't have collective bargaining done. And collective bargaining barely passed on an average of 32-30 per team. I mean, when you break down the overall yes votes versus no, I mean, some teams may have been 40-13 in favor of, others may have been 13-40 against. But the average ended up being per team 32-30 based on the number of votes. So they barely got that through on the collective bargaining part. I mean, they were close to a lockout. But they got it through by a razor's edge, and when they did, it opened up the door to negotiate TV. Then they negotiated TV, got gigantic deals. By getting gigantic deals, and increased the salary cap. By increasing the salary cap, people got more money. And that's where we are today.
I do wonder how much their current uncertainty hurts them as well. I'm meaning the players' union. Well,
was it Kevin White that's going to be?
He's interim. I think some people are starting to push for the guy on Amazon, Andrew Whitworth.
Andrew Whitworth, who's very smart, and he'd be an interesting choice. I mean, the question would be, what kind of negotiator would he be at the table? So
I get the part on why you would want to do it, but man, you'd think the pregame and postgame stuff would be way cushier than negotiating union contracts.
I mean, that's what gets me, Todd, is that I realize that certain people have certain interests and they want certain challenges. I got that. I do understand that. But you've already made all this money. And Whitworth made a decent amount of coin in his career between the Bengals and the Rams. He made a lot of money, and he's made a lot of money since. Then he gets into TV, and guess what? He just has to show up on set. Talk to Richard Sherman, talk to Tony Gonzalez, talk to Ryan Fitzpatrick, talks to Carissa Thompson, and, they give him a check.
I mean, you got to follow the sport pretty closely, but you're pretty much working 20 weeks the entire year?
Oh, yeah. It's actually a pretty good deal. I mean, it's a pretty good deal if you ask me. And what's the pressure? I mean, what's the pressure? I mean, the pressure is to go out and to be good. I mean, people ask me about will ask me about pressure and what I do. I said, I don't feel any pressure except internally. I just want to make sure that the next game I do is better than the previous game I did. That's always been my standard. My standard has always been very simple. I want the next game I broadcast, in terms of the quality of broadcast, to be better than the previous one. Right. And it's always under the category of you either get better, you get worse, you never stay the same. So, and that's all he has to do, in my opinion. Why take on something like this? Like, what the
heck? You got to enjoy business and numbers and negotiating, and that just does not sound like fun to me.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. And some of that stuff I get confused by. Because, like you said, you graduated to something that's a little bit, I think, easier. Not everybody can do it. I mean, not everybody can do this job. I know everybody out there thinks they can do this job, but not everybody can.
But I mean, you get what? You get your almost entire summer off.
You get a good chunk of the spring off too.
You can pull a Ross Tucker and do your podcast from your house. And
hey, by the way, I saw Ross. He was at practice the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, Ross was there because he's going to be paired with Tom. I said, hey, it's great you're with Tommy McCarthy again. That's great. I said T-Mac is a great dude. I've known Tommy for 35 years at least, going back to when he was doing radio for St. Joe's. Yeah, I said, hey, you lucked out. That's a great pairing. And not only that, he's in the regular rotation, which is even better. Instead of being like in a fill-in spot. But yeah, I saw Ross. I think it was Friday I saw Ross.
I was going to say, he does his podcast from his basement, gets to spend most of the summer at the shore house with the kids.
Yeah. You work hard. I mean, yeah. Ross works hard.
I'm not arguing that point, but there's a good part of it as well.
Well, because Ross is doing college football and the NFL. So since he's doing both, he's doing multiple games in a week. That's a lot of people to know, or a lot of things you need to know about, because he's also doing radio. So, I mean, once we get to this time of the year, Ross is doing a lot. Now, do others of us sit there and do other sports during the year? Yes, I do basketball. Yes, I do Spikes baseball in the summertime. So I end up doing between 90 and 100 games a year, right? Something like that. And I'm having a blast, so it doesn't matter to me how many games I'm doing a year. There's a lot of things I was doing before that I'm not doing now that I'm glad I have eliminated. So
I'll be interested to see how you handle your first semester without teaching.
With complete ease.
You gotta sleep to 10:30 every morning now?
With complete ease. All right. I enjoyed meeting the young people. I enjoyed talking with and to the young people. You know what I didn't enjoy? I didn't enjoy the grading part.
I was just going to say grading the young people.
Oh. And it was because when you're sitting there and it's all project-based, and when you're sitting there, I'll never forget, I told this story before, but I was in Los Angeles for the UCLA-USC basketball road trip. So the project was due on Monday. So I'm sitting in L.A. I get up. I'm like, oh, God. All right, let me check my email. All right. So I got 25 in there. And when I was going along and I graded like the first dozen of them, I'm sitting in the hotel room. I'm like, oh, God, I got 13 more to go. I'm like, that's when you knew you had to get out. I was like, I got 13 more of these. This isn't flying by. This is starting to feel like a job. But going in, doing the lectures, getting the feedback, talking with them, I really enjoyed that. But the grading part, and it's not just what grade you hand out. I mean, you have to listen to all these projects. And it doesn't matter if they're all great. You still have to sit there and listen. That's a lot of listening you have to do. It's like that. They all start to sound the same after a while. Oh, goodness. I did that for 23 years. I did my part.
Now it's occasional guest speaking appearances at Professor Borman's class.
Now, if they ask me to come in and guest lecture, absolutely no problem. More than happy to. I already told everybody, hey, you guys want me to guest lecture? Come by, say a few words. Sure, I'll do that. Right? And guess what? Your responsibility is when you leave. Nothing. You've imparted your alleged words of wisdom. And then you get to move on, right? You don't have to go into the next class. You don't have to prepare the next lesson. You don't have to sit there, especially you don't have to grade them. Yeah, that's like, So, yeah, you ask me, I'm in? No. The first class is 3 weeks from today. No. In fact, Brian and Tripp is going to teach the class. So I did send him the syllabi for the fall and the spring that I used. I sent that to him on Saturday.
Are you going to stand at the window on that first day of class and wave to everybody as they walk by? Are you that close to campus?
No, I've got a game that day.
Oh.
The Spikes are playing an 11 a.m. game that day around the first day of classes.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I have a game that day, and then the next day I'm in Pittsburgh to speak at the Duquesne Club with Jack. So,
I'm guessing there's no show that day then, huh? The old 11 a.m. game.
Nope. Same thing with the Duquesne Club. Those will both be something ahead of time. That's the 25th and 26th.
Oh, wow. Is it that far away?
Yeah, that's 3 weeks away. Yeah, no, I'm going to be with you on Wednesday at the Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament. That's this week. Next week, I'm speaking at a breakfast to the Blair County Chamber of Commerce in Altoona. And then after that, it is the Duquesne Club on the 26th with Jack. And then the first quarterback club's the 27th. First talk show's the 28th. Then the 29th, I got a baseball game at Williamsport. Then I'll come back and do the Nevada game on the 30th. And Sunday I have nothing. Then I have baseball at 1 o'clock at Williamsport on Labor Day. Baseball at Williamsport on the 2nd. Baseball at Williamsport on the 3rd. Talk show with James, pregame show with James, and then the MLB Draft League Championship game on the 4th. The 5th, I have nothing. The 6th, I have Florida International. And then on the 7th, I have nothing. And the 8th, I have nothing. So, yeah, there'll be no class to teach on the 8th, my man. No class to teach.
I just realized this morning that football season starts in 2 weeks for me.
Yeah, I know. Today's the first day of high school practice, right?
Yeah, today's the first day of heat acclimatization.
Yeah. So the heat acclimation goes on, and then the first game is going to be on Friday, August the 22nd, right?
That is correct.
All right. And where's the Suits' first game?
At Milton.
Ah.
I was going to say, everybody's on the Selinsgrove's on the road, too. They're out at Juniata.
Or Juniata. Yeah. Is the Sioux popular in Milton, or is he despised there like he is at Jersey Shore?
I think he's popular in Milton.
Oh, good. That's great. Because I don't want him to run into any brick walls out there.
There's a big difference between that Jersey Shore press box and that Milton press box.
Okay, which one's better?
Oh, Milton.
Oh, really?
I even think the Jersey Shore people would admit that.
Oh,
I don't think
just bigger or.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Jersey. I don't think they've. God love them. I don't think the town of Jersey Shore has touched Thompson Street Stadium in 50 years.
Wow. It's interesting is that you ever do a game at Du Bois?
The only game I ever did there was a state playoff game when they already had the turf.
Well, but the two press boxes.
See, I do football from the sidelines unless it's pouring.
Okay. Yeah, they have two press boxes, and they're like at the 15-yard line on each side. So when you're announcing, I go back to the 80s. I mean, I haven't done a game there. Obviously, I was doing high school football in the 80s. And they're like, okay, I think they're at the 4-yard line. Because they're at the other end of the field. Now, when they're at your end of the field, this is great. All right, we'll take a break. Rich Scarcella coming up here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Half hour brought to you by our good friends at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best in new inventory, great pre-owned inventory with the all-important Sunbury Motors guarantee. They check over each vehicle on the lot thoroughly, makes the buying experience easier, and the service department, quick lane inspections, routine, difficult, tremendous. All at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. The outstanding Rich Scarcella joins us. Sir, welcome back. Great to have you with us.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Did you get a chance to walk into Beaver Stadium? And if you did, what was the impression of the temporary seating on the west side?
Yeah, I did. Steep. That took me and a lot of other people. I was surprised how many broadcast booths there are. I didn't realize there would be that many, honestly.
Yeah.
I think there must still be work to do because there was nothing underneath the bleachers, and they obviously have 3+ weeks to finish that. So yeah, I mean, it didn't. Those are my takeaways.
I would think the number of broadcast booths has to do with student radio, in part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that has to be part of it. The comm radio, the Lion. If the opposing team wants to have a student radio station to go with their own network, and of course what Penn State does and TV. So I think that's probably the reason behind it. Plus, I think you probably have to have operations over there too.
Right. And I'm assuming, and you would know, but the coaches are going to be on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coaches in the quote unquote press box will be on the east side. So no, I mean they're my takeaways. I mean it's a temporary thing for 2 seasons, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when it's finished in 2 years.
It's interesting is that it looks actually different when you're on the field than it does when you're looking from the outside. The inside looks better than the outside does.
Okay, I'll take your word. I didn't get a good look from the outside, but yeah. I mean, like I said, I think once everything's done, it'll be fine.
Okay, so now let's get to the takeaways that you had from Media Day. What was actually the primary takeaway? And it doesn't have to be James. Maybe it was somebody else.
Oh. boy. There were a lot of takeaways.
Yeah.
Let's start with what I wrote my column on is the 3 wide receivers from the portal,
Right.
and what they can bring and what they have brought. James talked about how important that position will be in the offense, and he made that very clear, and how that's going to help not only Drew Aller but Nick Singleton and K'Tron Allen, and I agree. And Andy Kotelnicki mentioned about how they've conducted themselves, and he called them terrific and fabulous and things like that. And I talked to all 3, and I got a good feeling from them. But I think that's one takeaway. Second takeaway is Jim Knowles only spoke for 8 minutes in the media room.
Yeah.
And almost everything he said was a nugget, was a very, was important. And he mentioned Zane Durant and how defensive tackles who make tackles are rare. And he's been impressed with him. He's been impressed with Amari Campbell, the linebacker transfer from North Carolina, and Tony Rojas, who's coming off an off-season surgery. And then, talking to the players, besides the receivers, I talked to A.J. Harris and Elliott Washington, and I was so impressed with both of them. And I know Jim Knowles and Terry Smith and Anthony Poindexter expect big things from them. And I got a chance to talk to Denai Dennis Sutton for a few minutes too. So it's a very quietly confident feeling. That's the takeaway I got. As far as intangibles go, very businesslike, and watching practice for a half hour on Saturday, I felt the same way.
Yeah, no, they go about their business. Don't get too high, don't get too low, just go about their business. When you looked at the offensive line, I don't know how much of that you got to see in practice, but just having a guy like Anthony Donko back, what does that mean to the overall unit? Doesn't mean he has to start, but what does it mean to the overall unit?
Well, I just think it's it's a deep offensive line. The young man from here in Berks County, Javen Williams, 5-star prospect, and if he had come along a few years earlier, he'd have been playing by now. He'd have been starting. But because the talent, the experience, and the depth is so great on the offensive line, he's got to wait his turn, and he understands that. He's and that's to have an Anthony Donko back and have a Nolan Rucci both fully healthy, and the way the two of them both played last year. I think that it's a plus. It's an absolute plus. And then you add a Cooper Cousins into the mix to go with, Drew Shelton, Vega, Ione, and Nick Dawkins, and it's a tremendous offensive line with great depth, and that's a tip of the cap to Phil Troutwine, and it has become a team strength the last couple years, and you couldn't always say that earlier in James Franklin's tenure.
Which means they also had to protect Drew Aller. What has been your sense in listening to Drew talk, the Drew Aller you're hearing today compared to the Drew Aller you heard a year ago?
Not much different. I don't sense any different. He's very, he seems confident. I think he seems, he's not going to say anything outrageous. I know he's happy to have those 3 receivers who are experienced, who handle themselves in a professional manner. I know that, but I don't really sense anything different other than the fact that he and a lot of other guys can't wait for the season to begin.
Yeah, no kidding. They're anxious for it to begin, without question. There's a lot of talk about what special teams can mean to this team. What's your thought on that and the emphasis Penn State's putting on it?
Well, if you look at how the return game was last year, it wasn't very good, especially in the punt return game.
Right.
And I think Justin Lustig made that a point on Saturday that they expect special teams to be better. I don't think they were awful kicking the ball necessarily, but I think they actually were pretty good kicking the ball. But the return game, you have a variety of options in the punt return game.
Right.
Trevor Pena, Devontae Ross, Zion Tracy, I could go on and on. So they have a lot of options there, and I think they will be more productive there. And I think the kickoff return was interesting when he was asked about whether Nick Singleton and Katron Allen will return kicks. And he didn't mention Katron, but he mentioned Nick, that if they think that there's a weakness in the opponent's kickoff coverage, they'll put Nick back there. If not, it'll probably be Quentin Martin and Corey Smith.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be more productive too. I do.
20 years ago, what kind of note did you take of preseason polls? And with the playoff, what do preseason polls mean to you now?
Gosh, I can't think of 20 days ago, Steve. 20 years ago, wow. No, obviously the polls, the preseason polls aren't as critical and aren't as impactful because the season, they were impactful, but they weren't, because you had to play the season. But now you not only have to play the season, you have a committee meeting to determine 12 teams, not 4 teams, not 2 teams, not 4 teams, 12 teams. So I think, like, going into the season, the polls, it's okay. It gives the fans something to chew about and to talk about, but it's not the end-all, be-all. Like, except for maybe teams that are at the bottom of the top 25 or out of the top 25 in the preseason polls, they have a lot of climbing to do.
Right.
That maybe, but for a team like Penn State, they obviously the USA Today coaches poll came out about 2 hours ago, and Penn State's number 3, which is fine. It's not whether they were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. They're 3. That's fine. Yeah. Their season is in their hands. They'll determine where they finish. Now it's not going to be up to voters as much necessarily when you look at it. But I think I know this was brought up and talked about at the Big Ten Media Days, but I actually think, especially last year, I thought the committee did a really good job.
Yeah.
And I mean, they tweaked it a little bit, and I agree with the tweak. You don't give the conference champions an automatic top 4 seed. I agree with that, or the highest 4, the 4 highest ranked champions.
Agreed.
Just see them 1 through 12. I'm good with that.
Yep.
And,
me too.
So yeah, it's not as critical, but it is significant in Penn State's case when you look at it in a big picture way, because it's the highest they've been ranked in a preseason poll since 1999. So that is significant. Yeah. And it tells you how far the program has come and how the direction and the momentum that it has.
Now, I'm not saying whether this kind of reaction's right or wrong, but between comments or clicks, what do you get more reaction to when you write something? An issue that's bedeviling college sports, or the game or the team itself?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I get it's about the game and the team itself, and the head coach.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Oh yeah, it's not even close. The bigger issues, the greater issues, I think the casual fan just tell me what it is. I don't think I mean last year and in the since the Supreme Court's decision in July of 21 regarding name, image, and likeness, I got a lot of questions, emails, or comments to me in person. People they don't like it. I'm like, I don't like it either, but this is the way it is, and if you don't play by the rules or play, this is the new game. You've got to adjust, or you're going to be left behind. But other than that, it's mostly about the team and the coach. Yeah. Like, I mean, if I write a column about James Franklin, I'm going to get comments, and most of them are going to be negative because they're the people who take time out to write about it. I mean, maybe the majority of the people might agree with me if I'm defending or supporting James, but they don't take the time to write. The people who are critical, they're the ones who usually take time to write.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, we all know that. That's. I mean, I don't care if you're buying a refrigerator. You look at the comments. Oh, they said this. That's because. It's not gonna. Hey, it's awesome. It's great. If you put it in, you love it. You're going great. If you got a complaint, you write it down.
Yeah. I mean, that's you. I've been fortunate to be in this business a long time, and every now and then I get some nice notes, but they're not as frequent as the criticism, which I take. I understand. I mean, maybe if I was 23 or 24, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I didn't understand it back then, but I understand it now, and I don't get as fired up.
No. After a while, you're like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And we're lucky you've been around this long. Is there a player on this team that you really enjoy listening to and interviewing because they give such thoughtful answers?
Yeah, there are. Well, Nick Dawkins. I mean, he's number one.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, and I've written about him. Yeah, I mean, a few times. I mean, like a profile of him, basically. And he's a guy I enjoy talking to. I really enjoyed talking to Elliot Washington on Saturday.
Yeah.
I've been on. I never talked to him as long as I did on Saturday, which is probably 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Yeah. And I enjoyed that. And A.J. Harris is good too. But yeah, they're the ones. I mean, I enjoy talking to Nick Singleton and Katron Allen when I have had one-on-one interviews with them. They're so much better. They're actually, they've got a different side to them when they're one-on-one, than in front of a lot of people. But no, I mean, they're I could go back, but on this team, I think I like talking to Jalen Reed last couple of years.
Oh yeah, very thoughtful.
Oh yeah. Well, he was very perceptive, and he gave good answers. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to there's the people I haven't talked to on this team yet. I briefly talked to Luke Reynolds, but I haven't had heard him on a call or Zoom interview for 9 or 10 minutes. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, you'll like him. He's very articulate, outgoing. You'll like Luke very much. The interesting about Singleton and Allen, they've always been relatively quiet guys, but usually as time goes, sentence answers turn into paragraph answers. I feel like they're more willing to offer paragraphs now. Is that fair? Yes,
that's very fair. Yeah. They were both. I interviewed them back to back in April, and it was it was a pleasure. I mean, it was, and the thing amazing about the two of them is how close they are.
Yeah.
How fiercely they compete for the same thing. This is highly unusual. Like this isn't something that happens every day, and they're going to finish. Knock on wood, barring injuries, they're going to finish as the top two rushers in Penn State history, and they've been rooming together for 3 years. I mean, and it's a sincere relationship. Like it is sincere. That's the wrong word. Genuine. It's a genuine friendship, and they enjoy each other's company, and I think it's something that people should take note of. That you can be competing for the same thing, for carries, for playing time, to see who's going to be the number one rusher at Penn State history, but you can also like each other. And they do. It's very clear.
And you know what? It's interesting. I don't think they care who gets credit, which is kind of cool. I also think that Nick's dad has been a big positive for K-Tron. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Yeah.
My friend, always a great pleasure. Awesome work as always. Really appreciate you.
Anytime, Steve. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
The great Rich Scarcella joining us on the show today, brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury, Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is, because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, Saturday 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.